All right, it's 3 p.m. We're just taking off right now. We're about 3 hours behind, so it's gonna be dark when we're paddling, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let's get to it. So as I'm driving up right now, I have decided that the theme of this video is going to be gratitude. We've got Thanksgiving coming up next week, and at first I was driving up feeling a little bit like, man, I should have left at noon so I could get there at 2 and have 3 or 4 hours to paddle before it gets dark. And I just decided that was a bad attitude and that I need to be more grateful. And I wanted to start off by just saying that I'm grateful to be going. I'm grateful that I have a wife that is letting me go despite the fact that we have 6 kids that she's home alone with right now, and all the things that are going on in our life that arguably should have caused me to stay home. Here I am. I get to go out and have fun, and that's a good thing. Speaking of my wife, she just texted me and let me know that I was smart enough to leave my pans at home. They're sitting on the kitchen counter. So that pan that I just made in the last video, that was a very large part of dinner tonight, is about an hour and a half away right now. Luckily, I happened to check my text messages before I passed the last Walmart, so we're gonna go in there and hope that they have something that can just get me through the evening. So certainly grateful that my wife let me know that I forgot those pans. I was able to find one of those grill baskets at Walmart that didn't set me back too much. Well, we officially have snow on the ground. For some of you that might not be very weird, but this is Arizona. And I was not counting on this. And it is physically snowing right now. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it is currently snowing. Grateful for my brother-in-law Eric, who let me borrow his pump so that you guys don't have to listen to me breathe heavy for the next 2 hours. Just kidding. Not grateful for my brother-in-law Eric because he gave me the wrong hose. So we're doing this the old-fashioned way. Thanks, Eric. So I guess I'm grateful for my 2 oldest boys, Bennett and Beckett, who are messy and left a full body armor and bag of high chews in the back of my truck from last week's camping trip. Thank you guys. One more thing to be grateful for. So definitely grateful for this paddleboard cart. It is working swimmingly. I estimate I have probably 7,500 pounds of gear on there. Purposely stacked it towards the back, or I guess the front here,
so it's easier to lift this end. But this is really nice. So this is where I'd be taking multiple trips down there with all this stuff, and it seems like it's fairly easy to maneuver. I like it. If you want to see the video where I made this cart, check out my DIY paddleboard cart video, posted probably a week or two before this. All right, we're down here at the bottom of the lake. I'm going to show you what I did to the paddleboard here. I don't know if you can see that, but I moved all the heavy gear to the front because I'm in the back, so we want the weight distributed out. We don't want it all back heavy. I had it in the back while I was pushing it down so that I wasn't lifting all of that weight up front while I was pushing it, but now that we're down here, we moved it back up. We're all set and ready to go. So this is the point where we are past the point of no return. Let's do this. We are floating. The water here is considerably higher than last time I was here, so we'll see how this goes. I don't know, I've only been here once and the water was really low. I know it's still not up to where it was, but it's much higher. So I don't know how much that will change where I'm going or what I'm doing. But I also can't see with the camera light right in my face. So I'm going to turn it off and paddle and get to camp as quick as I can because I'm hungry. I'm tired. So we started paddling at 7:50. It's 8:10. Do the math right, that's about 20 minutes. We're getting pretty close to the dam here. I have to admit, it is kind of spooky paddling out here right now. I said the water level's much higher than it was last time I was here, which means all the driftwood and log and debris that were on the side of the canyon walls here is all floating in the lake now. So I like come up on these things and they're like little floating alligators. I know that's not realistic, but when you're out here alone, it's kind of spooky. But it's fun. I was just staring up at the side of the wall here that I'm next to, and I saw 3 sets of shiny eyes staring back at me. I thought they were deer and I spooked them. And then there's like some loud crashing noises, so I'm pretty sure it was elk. When they ran away, they were breaking lots of logs and stuff. That's pretty cool. Also, it was kind of tough at first. Like, it's so dark out here, I can't tell where I'm going, and I can't pick like the most efficient route. Like, generally I know where I'm going, but you could paddle like a lot extra if you don't make the right turns and don't cut the right corners. So then I remembered I had my Onyx maps on my phone, so I pulled that out, and it's perfect because I can see exactly where I am and I can cut the right corners to take the most efficient route. We're headed on the straightaway straight up towards the dam right now, if you've been here before, and we're about to turn right into an area that I haven't gone. I've only paddled as far as the dam, so once we turn right here, we're in new territory for me. It is 9:24. It's been a long hour. It's been snowing. It has been fun, but the stressful part about it is I'm looking at Onyx trying to find a place to camp, and because the water level is different now than it was when the picture was taken on the satellite GPS, it's hard to tell like what the lay of the land is. But I think I'm at a spot where it's worth it to check and see if it's not too far to get up to some trees where I can find a flat spot and set up a shelter and make a fire. So I'm gonna go check that out. Hopefully this is the spot and I can be done paddling for the night. Found a nice little spot up here. It will definitely work. Glad to be off the lake. Let's get a shelter set up. So I've been a little worried about starting a fire, or just how much work it's going to take, because it's so wet here. And I'm walking around looking for dry stuff. And it's not long before I find this underneath this log. Somebody has clearly been here and left some stuff here that's all dry. So I'm going to happily use it and make sure to replenish it before I leave. This is definitely something I'm very happy about. One more thing to be grateful for on this wonderful trip. This little air mattress pump came in clutch for starting the fire. It was slow going there. Even with that dry wood that was under that log, it was still kind of damp from, I think, just the humidity. And I probably would have started, but it was kind of scaring me a little bit. And I thought about it. I was trying to blow on it and it wasn't working too good. And I thought about, I remembered I had that pump and thought I'd give it a try, and it worked really good. So I guess remember that in a pinch if you're one of those guys that carries an air mattress pump instead of a pump bag. That'll work for juicing the fire. For dinner we have some grilled vegetables with my buddy Steve's spicy salsa and some creamy cilantro sauce. And then we have a manager's special $12 prime ribeye that I lucked into this morning at the grocery store. And it is covered in chimichurri, which is one of my new faves. It is 11:30 right now, and I am very hungry. I also have this super cool knife that my brother Danny gave me right before he started hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, and then he finished, but just really nice of him to give me this knife. It's a Leatherman Arc. Very nice. This could be total dog dump, and I would love it, because I'm so freaking hungry right now. This is fit for a king. For dessert, I have got some freeze-dried strawberries that I put in a Mylar bag with some sugar and dehydrated coconut milk. And I just added water, and then I've got 3 Twinkies here. Delicious.
Good morning.
So just to give you guys an idea of where I'm at, we were not going much further last night. We think we made it just about as far as we can go. I got up here and I could hear like a creek running last night, and I thought maybe it was just like a side creek coming into the main channel here. But when I got up this morning, this is what I see. That's the main channel there, and that's water just flowing in the top end. So we were not going any further. Kind of glad we found this spot. It was a perfect spot.
So I'm still not super hungry from that giant dinner I had at about midnight last night. I had a bigger breakfast planned, some bacon and some other things, but I am not going to cook that right now because it's going to go to waste if I do. So we are going to go with this herbal tea that my mom used to make me when I was sick, and the last Twinkie from dessert last night. So the real story behind this knife, this Leatherman I was talking about last night, is that my brother Danny did go hike the Pacific Crest Trail. So I think he started in May of this year and finished in September, which is pretty sick. But when he left, I was at my parents' house up in Salt Lake, and I found this in the couch, and I knew it was his, so I stole it. That's older brother privilege. Before we leave, I'm just gonna walk you guys around so you can see what I can see, how awesome this place is. So we came in from that direction, and I don't know if you can see it down behind that tree is where my paddleboard is. It's super cool here. Water's definitely muddy from all the rainfall and the new water that's coming, but it's so cool. It's going to be a lot more fun to paddle out today than it was last night. That was an adventure for sure. You can see where some of the old water lines are and how different this place can be when there's a lot more water in it. That lower, darker water line there, and then that higher, lighter water line when the place is really full. We got frost all over the chair, the life jacket. So just because we're here, I'm gonna see if there's any crawdads in here. If you've never done this before, there's a few ways to do it. You can catch them in a trap. When I was growing up, we'd go once a year at least and catch hundreds of them at this lake in Utah. And my favorite thing to use is like an entire chicken leg with the thigh and everything. That bone there gives you a nice place to tie off to. And you don't have to use paracord. You can just use like a heavy duty twine or something like that. This is what I have. So yeah, I'd rather have like the full thigh on there too, because it just gives them some more to bite onto, and you can potentially catch more at the same time. And then you just slowly pull them in after about 10 minutes. And if they're on there, you'll see these little black spots attached to them, these little dark spots. So we'll give this a shot. Let that sit for about 10 minutes while I pack up the paddleboard, and we'll see. Empty. I still am not convinced there's nothing in here. I want to come back when it's warmer. I know in Utah, we always had more luck in the summer than we did like in the late fall. Whoop. Almost lost the paddleboard there. slid right in, way too easy. Whew. All right, let's get back to the truck. So I just mapped it out on Onyx. Last night, we paddled just under 3.5 miles to get to this spot. Isn't too bad, all in the dark. I certainly could have gone faster if it was light outside, but I was a little afraid of like running into a log or something that was right underneath the surface and popping the paddleboard, which would have sucked. Also, I don't think I mentioned this last night, but there was this point where I found a spot that I was thinking about camping. I was looking at it on Onyx, trying to like see how steep it was and how flat it was, because the walk. So I was looking at my phone, just kind of floating there, and realized that I had floated back downstream, and I mean, I'm in a lake, but I had floated, the current had dragged me back and I didn't realize it, like probably like 50 yards. And I was facing the wrong direction and I didn't realize it. If I didn't have Onyx, I definitely would have started paddling back to the marina. And I wouldn't even have known, which is crazy. So definitely grateful for Onyx today. So fun fact for anybody who lives in Arizona, Blue Ridge Reservoir actually isn't called Blue Ridge Reservoir anymore. It is called C.C. Cragen Reservoir. The reservoir was originally built in the 1960s. I think they started building in 1960, finished in 1965, and it was built by a copper mining company called Phelps Dodge. And they needed water for their operations and regulations. So they got permission to build the dam under the premise that when they were done, they would pass it off to SRP, which is the power company, one of the power companies here in Arizona. So I think it was like 2005 that the rights were passed over to SRP. I'm guessing there's some type of turbine on the other side of the dam. But also another fun fact, the water here doesn't continue down the drainage that it's in. It gets pumped back uphill into another drainage, and it supplies water to Payson, Arizona and areas around there. So in February 2005, when it switched, they named it after some like famous SRP guy that was like all into hydroelectric. So if you're like a power nerd, maybe you know who that guy is. All right, everyone, we made it back safe. It's good to be back. I am grateful to be back. I'm grateful for the trip that I was just able to go on and the adventure that it was last night and the good food. A little sad I didn't catch any fish and crawdads, but hopefully next time we come here, it'll be a little warmer. We'll get here a little earlier. We'll have a little bit more time to do those things. Until then, thanks for watching. See you next time.